Every journey begins with a step. But some steps don't feel like movement. Some feel like falling, slowly, into something unknown. Between what I believe and what I still don't understand. Sometimes I move through life like this. Quietly, observing, alone with my thoughts, alone with God. C.S. Lewis wrote in his book, "I am trying here to prevent anyone saying the really foolish thing that people often say about him. I'm ready to accept Jesus as a great moral teacher, but I don't accept his claim to be God." What is then the real difference between a great moral teacher and God? If Jesus was truly God in human form, we are faced with a mystery far beyond simple moral wisdom. These questions make me weary and burdened, and I wonder, will Jesus give me the rest? Arrival doesn't always bring answers. Sometimes it just brings more questions in a new setting. I used to think doubt was the enemy, that questioning meant weakness, or even lack of faith. But now, I'm not so sure. I carry my doubts like luggage, quiet, heavy, and with me, wherever I go. Faith without doubt is like a light without shadow. It's easy to believe when prayers are answered, but when God is silent and when nothing makes sense, if I still hold on then, is that still faith? I think it is. Sometimes I stop and wonder, how do you seek a God you cannot see, in a world so loud and full of noise? Maybe faith starts in the pause, in the quiet choice to keep walking towards something unseen, towards something you don't understand, but still trust.
Where do we run when the world ends? Where do we run when there's nothing left? Who do we run to when the stars burn out? Where do we run?
Some days faith feels like a game I don't know the rules to. I make a move, hope it matters, but doubt always plays back. Sometimes I wonder, am I running in circles trying to solve something that isn't meant to be solved? Is the question wrong? Or is it impossible to solve because it's not real? Is this doubt, or is this just faith in motion? Does the path of questioning lead toward God or away from Him? I'm scared to even think about the latter one. I try to get comfortable, but how can I rest when my soul is restless? I have packed books like weapons, as if knowledge could defend me against doubts. My mind was shaped for time, for cause and effect, and for patterns I can trace. But God is infinite, and infinity is hard to hold. Theologians, thinkers, saints, they all wrestled. That comforts me, because I wrestle too. But the more I look, the more I see disagreement. So many voices, so many versions of the truth. Each comment hits like a wave, louder, harsher, and colder. And suddenly, it's not just the world questioning my faith. It's me. What if I'm wrong? What if all of this is just projection? I don't want perfect faith. I just want real faith. The kind that survives questions like these. You seem familiar. Very familiar indeed. Oh, you're that guy that goes to church on Sunday and drinks on Saturday. Yeah, you're one of those Christians, I see. Hey, I got your bag over here. Let's see what you've been doing for the past few years. Oh, characters from Christianity. But you have never cared about those. Redeeming science? You try to combine religion and science? That has never gone well. Mere Christianity? What do you care what some old English fart has to say about morality? And this is a very fresh looking Bible. I bet you haven't even opened this once. What? Where am I? Dear Oliver, don't you know what honesty is? Who are you? Oh, how much I love hanging around with hypocrites. Let's play. You know, if God is love, why does believing Him feel so hard sometimes? Because love isn't always easy. It asks for surrender even when you don't understand it. Why does faith feel more like a struggle to you? Because real faith isn't blind. It wrestles, it questions, but it holds on. Have you ever wondered if your prayers are just echoes in your head? Yes, but sometimes even the echo reminds me I'm not alone. If God is truly speaking to you, why can't you tell if it's His voice or your own thoughts? Because discernment takes time and humility. Why do you say God is good, by the way, when He lets children die in war zones? Because His goodness isn't the absence of pain, but His presence in it. If He is always with you, why did you feel so abandoned when your world fell apart? Have you ever thought about that? I didn't see Him, but I survived. Maybe that was Him. You say you trust Him, but didn't you beg for something and get silence instead? Yes, and I'm still here, still believing. That must count for something. How many times have you doubted and just called it testing your faith? Many times. Doubt isn't the enemy, it's the sharpening of my beliefs. I've been wondering that would your faith survive if you found out that the resurrection was a myth? It would crack, yeah, but truth demands I follow it, wherever it leads. Would you still love God if He never answered another prayer ever again? I hope I would say yes. Why do you keep obeying a God whose will you barely understand, even when you read all those books? Because I trust His heart more than I trust my own understanding. So you are blindly following something you don't even understand? Wow, that's stupid. How much of your belief is inherited, not chosen? You know you are living in a Christian country. I would say some, but every day I wake up and I choose it again, so that's my decision. Well, what if one day you decide to not choose it? Or is your fate so hard that you have to choose it every day? Be honest. Now, really, be honest with me. Do you ever feel like you're faking it? Sadly, sometimes, yes. But faith isn't pretending, it's walking through the dark anyway. Walking through the dark anyway? Again, blindly following something you don't even know. I cannot even comprehend how stupid you are. And by the way, isn't your relationship with God just your own inner monologue dressed up in religious words? It feels like that sometimes. But sometimes the answer comes before I even ask. Sometimes the answer comes before I ask. You know, this is the problem with Christians, or actually all the religious people. You get a thing, you get lucky, and you're like, oh, this came from God. You know, most atheists have happy life. They have a job, they even win the freaking lottery. And they don't make it about God because God don't exist. And about that, how can you claim God is close when you can't even feel Him in your loneliest nights? Because closeness isn't always a feeling. Sometimes it's just being held in the silence. Is God holding you right now? Or is that just like a happy, soft phrase you hold on to when you feel anxious? Like right now? Is God in here? I don't see Him. You say God is with the broken-hearted. Then where the hell was He when you begged Him to take away the depression that made you hate yourself? Now you're starting to get it. You claim grace, but do you really believe you're forgiven? Because I have seen you relive your worst sins on a repeat. Every night, every regret. You wear guilt like it's a holy thing. You are embracing your hypocrisy and you can even see it yourself. He let your loved one die. He let it happen. And you thanked Him at the funeral? Do you even hear yourself right now? Where's your confidence now? You're not talking. You're not answering me. I see your hands shaking. Where's your God right now? You're afraid to walk away, aren't you? Because if God's not real, then your suffering was meaningless. And you can't live with that. You think this is fate? This silence? Where God holds you? This joking on questions while calling it worship? Man, I really like you, but you gotta stop this before you start to go crazy. I wake up with the breath I didn't know I was holding. Like something heavy just passed through me. Maybe it wasn't just a dream. Maybe it was something deeper. A mirror held up to my own soul. I have just wrestled with doubt like it was an enemy. But maybe it's just another kind of prayer. One without words. Just tension and silence and waiting. They say that God is found by those who seek Him, but they rarely mention how messy that seeking can be, how sometimes you lose track of what you are looking for, or wonder if you're even on the right path. But today, something is different. Not because all the answers came, they did not, and not because the doubts are gone, they are not, but because I'm learning that faith isn't the absence of doubt, but the decision to keep walking through it. I came looking for truth. Instead, I feel like a paper boat in the middle of a hurricane. Fragile, exposed, trying to float in waters that don't want me there. That dream, it was strange, sure, but maybe it was grace in disguise. A reminder that even when I'm playing both sides of the board, God isn't leaving the game. And as I step out into noise, into questions, into whatever comes next, I know one thing. I'm not walking away, I'm walking with. And for now, that's enough.
Ever-present God, there's no way you are not. In all places, past, present, future, I accent full iteration. The poets and quants, Nobels and the Pulitzer visionaries. Push the envelope without recipient, the author of the history. Ever-knowing God, there's no plot that you forgot. How can the limited grasp the infinite mind of the unlimited? The origin of all knowledge, your ways are perfect. Yet these skeptics capitalize on the culturally conditioned emotions. Oh, my moral compass pointed at hoax over hope. I walk through the valley of silly, three big Eddie agree like big head. A fragile vessel battled by trauma, yet somehow afloat. Anchor dragging through the sediment of self-serving love. Okay, never saw me as a bad guy. By whose standard was I using to evaluate my heart? In the flood of my wreckage, your head